talking to Ron Meadows of BAR.
Ron Meadows of BAR.
Oh, big
what
BS
specification
Panis
of Honda engines has your team got this weekend? Because we saw it in Indianapolis.
Villeneuve, in fact. Red flag, and that's a big shunt coming out of Spoon.
Yeah, it's Villeneuve. It is Jacques.
Yes, it is Villeneuve. I thought that initially it was Panis. It's Jacques Villeneuve, and he's lost. As you can see where he's ridden the curb, he may have just caught the dirt, and that is a heavy, heavy impact. Now, Jacques Villeneuve looks like he's fine. He's just getting out of the car. The marshals vigorously waving those red flags. No hesitation whatsoever from race director Charlie Whiting to stop this session. As there you see, well, bits of bodywork. It's probably slightly more superficial than it is structural, but there are the marks, and look at the mess on the racetrack. That's going to take a few minutes to clear up as Kimi Räikkönen makes his way very, very slowly indeed, as Fisichella behind. And bodywork and grass and bits of car. That's what, well, there just catches the very end of it. The right rear, and I hit that tyre barrier, a pretty good old thump, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a big whack. He just put the wheel over the edge. You can see the tyre marks heading back from the curb, heading out. Then look at Michael. He had a good view of this.
He certainly saw all that, and I mean, he was well aware of what was happening. And he really had to concern himself about where is the cleanest part of the racetrack for me to get through without doing any damage or maybe cutting a tyre. As Mario Willen looks up and shakes his head and thinks, man, that was a big one, wasn't it? It actually, it wasn't that big, but it's because of all the body. More concern there for his manager, Craig Pollock. And a lot of discussion about what Craig Pollock and Jacques Villeneuve are up to. They were seen at the Miami kart race last weekend. For Jacques Villeneuve, disappointment indeed, as it will be for Honda, Ben, because this is the man who did a stunning job last weekend or 2 weekends ago in America. Now that car will not be out again this afternoon, and they will not be able to do any further running with Villeneuve unless they put him into Panis's car. And this is a big setback for BAR, particularly in their World Championship Manufacturers Championship.
Yeah, oh, and Panis has stopped. Now, I don't know whether he's quite why he's stopped out there, whether he has a problem. We saw him, if you remember, coasting into the pit lane earlier, or whether he stopped to sort of see what's happened. I don't know, but I don't think so. It's unlikely he would have stopped to offer any assistance. It's clear that Villeneuve's okay.
He's just stopped, actually, just further down the road from the incident. Now, whether that's coincidence or whatever, but David Richards, look, there is a man who's got the world on his shoulders right now. And I mean, this is a cruel sport in many ways, and you know, there is pressure. This is the team that represents Honda, the soulless team next year, and one car's crashed out, the other car stopped further down the track. So the process of sweeping up the shards of carbon fibre, maybe the odd bit of metal that might be in the track, certainly all the grass and earth that would be chucked down. And Jack walks around and, well, he has to put that one down to himself. There was nobody else involved. That was just a pure error of judgment on his part on the exit from Spoon Corner. And I hope he'll put his hand up and say, sorry guys, that was a lot of work I've given you for a really slightly careless moment.
Well, Panis just sitting there. Let's go to David Richards with Peter Windsor.
David, you've been looking at the array of monitor screens there. Obviously not a good way to start. First of all, why has Olivier stopped there?
It appears that he's pressed the kill switch. When he was slowing down to go through all the debris and stuff, he pressed the wrong switch.
Now, what could you see from there that perhaps we haven't seen already? Anything?
No, not really. It's, you know, early laps and just getting used to the car, getting used to the circuit, rode up on the curbs. I guess one of those things we'll find out when Jack gets back here.
Had he said anything prior to that, perhaps on the installation lap, about the car feeling twitchy or anything like that?
No, nothing at all. It's just getting used to the place. You know, Jack's very cautious on a Friday. Normally settles himself in, and we were just discussing how sensible he is, actually, ironically.
Very ironically. Thank you very much, David.
Isn't that always the way? Just when you think that you know how it all works. Villeneuve showing that it's easy to make a mistake. We've often seen people run a little wide out of that corner, but not with quite such dramatic consequences normally. But Villeneuve has certainly done a lot of damage to that car. Michael Schumacher had to make his way through, which he did. But Olivier Panis, well, hopefully it sounds as though Olivier Panis shouldn't have a major problem. If he's hit the kill switch, then they should be able to get the car back and restart it soon.
Yes, I mean, David, I think being rather kind and waiting for Jacques to come back and explain what happened. I mean, for a driver of Jacques' experience, that was a bit of an own goal. In fact, it was a complete own goal. I mean, riding that curb, everybody knows what it's like. You might have expected maybe somebody who's not been here before, and we've seen Takuma Sato being pretty quick out of the box in the Jordan. We've also seen Felipe Massa being pretty quick out of the box in the Sauber, and they managed to negotiate the exit of Spoon. So Jacques, just, you can see him moving his neck around. He might have got a bit of a tweak on the neck, and he may want to get a bit of physio when he gets back into the pits just to make sure those muscles. There's another angle just at the point of impact, and you can see how the car rears up, and that right front wheel comes off. Now that is not meant to happen. There's a double tether.
Yeah, it did stay attached.
It did stay attached. Yes, it did in fact stay attached.
Yeah, both rear and front. Yeah, so did a pretty good job. There is test driver Anthony Davidson, who has been testing in the interval, in fact, between the United States Grand Prix and this race. Actually, a suspension or a mechanical problem of some sort, which also put him into a shunt, didn't it?
Yes, it did. In Barcelona, the team said there was a mechanical issue which caused Anthony to have a shunt which shot him off into the barriers, and didn't clarify as to what it was, just owned up to it. So it's been a rather tough few days for the team. You know, they got that fine 6th place. Jacques Villeneuve drove one of his strongest races of the season in the US 2 weekends ago, and now having to make his way back and go into the garage and say, listen guys, I'm sorry, there is the car. I think the damage probably a lot more superficial. Concern might be around the front of the car, whether, let's look at it again, Ben, there we see it as it comes round. So that right front has taken the brunt of the impact. The nose got a fair dig. Don't worry about the back of the car, because the gearbox and engine will help absorb, so there shouldn't be any concern about structural damage at the back. It's really around the front and where the suspension mounts into the monocoque that there could be an issue. If it is superficial, you know, there is the possibility that guys, we've seen miracles performed by teams before, that they might get it up on the stands, strip it down. They could just take the entire rear off that car and put another entire rear on, but it's that right front will be the concern.
Well, it makes its way back to the pits. Let's get a little bit more reaction now from the BAR team. Bruce Jones has caught up with James Robinson.
James Robinson of BAR, I've just seen you looking at the replays. What do you think happened with Jacques Villeneuve?
Obviously very difficult to say. The replay doesn't pick it up until the car's actually heading towards the barrier, so we'll try and go up the tower and try and look at some more footage, see what happened. Either sort of driver error or maybe something failed. We need to check.
Has Jacques said anything to you?
No, nothing on the radio, obviously straight out of the car.
It looks so Olivier Panis has pulled over to the side of the track as well. What's the problem with him?
We don't know at present. Obviously we're waiting for him to get back and to check, but obviously we saw him pull over just after Jack, so we need to check.
Okay, leave you to it. Thank you very much.
Well, they should have that car back to the pits fairly soon. Of course, this is a bit of a pause for everybody else, having to sit and wait. Kimi Räikkönen in the McLaren, just biding his time until they can get the car back on circuit once again. Jacques Villeneuve certainly always gone well at this Suzuka track. Anybody can make a mistake, though. Remember, he took pole position his first visit in a Grand Prix car. He had raced here extensively in his Formula 3 days in Japan, but took pole position here when he was driving for Williams back in 1996. The year that, of course, he lost the championship to Damon Hill, made a terrible start from pole position. The following year, he also, as we mentioned earlier, had pole position in the Williams.
So the session will commence in a further about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, as Villeneuve's car is brought in. Now the concern for the team is that they're not going to get Olivier Panis's car back, and that